Woman, which is a show that we all love, a show that seeks to help us as women that we be able to know and have the information and the tools that we really go into our respective corners, we are able to succeed and really be prudent women. Woman, I am so excited because we are talking about a topic that is really so close. One who works with young people, as one who gets to interact a lot with young topic that we're talking about tonight really affects all of us. If you have never written exams, and if you have been in a position where you set for results, but before we get into the depth of it, I'd like to apologize you off. You know, we live in South Africa and we've got load shedding. So unfortunately, on load shedding, that is why my video is off and my picture is on the screen. But nonetheless, we really want to understand the anxiety that comes with, and also that time of awaiting our results. I'm so excited tonight because we've got our lovely guests with me tonight. Firstly, we've got Ntsaho. She's a young person who happens to be a psychologist. So she is our professional with this topic tonight. We'll get her to introduce herself later. We also have one of the Baloyi who will be joining us later on, who is a student who has a varsity schooling and now going to the workplace. We also have Miss Katekile, a matric student. And lastly, we've got Mama Priscilla Maingani. All you parents who may not necessarily be sitting for exams or waiting for your own result, being parents, you get to feel the pressure together with the students. So I'd like now our guest, and let me just start with Katekile and allow Katekile to just tell and about writing matric, being a matric student. And I think automatically it comes in level of pressure. So Katekile, good evening, and just introduce yourself to the how it is to be a matric student.
Okay, I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus. My name is Katekile Shakani, and yes, I was a matric student this year. As with matric, you have ups and downs. Matric is actually this specific or peculiar thing label on it. Matric is what you make it. If you follow through with your work, matric can be nice for you, but if you have faults here and there, it can be hectic.
Katekile, are you still with us? I think we're losing you a bit there. Okay.
Yes.
We can hear you, Katekile. You can continue.
Yes, I was saying that matric is, so as a matric student, it depends on your drive. How bad do you want to get good results? How bad? Matric can honestly go either way depending on motive and your own purpose driven mentality. So the perfect way to define matric, it's what you make it.
Thank you so much. You know what I like about how Katekile is explaining? Yes, I was a matric student, and she's also one of the results. So you can see she's very confident that, you know what, I showed up for matric, it was not ready for, and therefore I was a matric student. I'm no longer a matric student. I would like now to go to Nyeleti, because I like Katekile and Nyeleti because they are different angles of this topic that we're talking about today. So Nyeleti she completed a matric a couple of years back. She went to varsity and now she's in varsity and now going to work. I'm not sure if Nyeleti, you can hear us. How is it? You know, a few years back, you were where Katekile is now. Maybe you were also confident what I could do. I did my best with the results, with the exams. And now as I where I stand. So how is it now you are completing your varsity schooling to go into the workplace? Is the pressure still the same, or is it now a bit more to handle this thing? How is it now in Nyeleti for you?
Thank you, Sis Pumla. Good evening, prudent women. So lovely to the grace of your screens this evening. Yes, I am at the verge of completing these, and I think looking back at my time in matric, I can resonate a lot with what that, especially about it being what you make it to be, and then, I think over the past 4 years, especially because university studies, we had to go through hard lockdown and COVID, and just the change to we couldn't even have that. Your teachers would maybe see you once a week. I didn't see them until April of this year, since I last saw them 2020 in March. But I think the pressures definitely you learn to handle a little bit better, especially because at this point you've already gone through so many examinations, as much as it's, but the pressures of matric, the pressures of grade 11 and everything below that really going to face going forward. I think for myself, and I think maybe this may be encouraging for a lot, personally, my results have improved significantly in my time in I think it's so much easier to get my distinctions now than it was. You know, I did get a few of them. So I think especially for people in matric right now, waiting your results, I think it's important to bear that in mind, that there's so much more post-matric to than what you are facing at that point in time while you're waiting. Yeah.
Oh wow, thank you so much, Nyeleti. You know, I like the dynamic of our attention that, you know, in the past 2 going to 3 years now through the pandemic, which really brought a lot of stress on students, because now of learning and teaching had to be affected, you know. But I like the fact that still saying it is now a bit easier, you know, having gone through the pressures of being in matric. Personally, I think there is so much pressure when you are in matric. I remember and why all these years from grade 8 until grade 11, when we get a result which is sealed, has your name outside the envelope, it is just yours, it is private. But now your results are public knowledge. For me, it was just so much pressure, you know, in going through all those stages that you learn and you become better. That is why it's easy for me now to get my distinctions. I know with me, I did my matric, I think about more than I always say, if I were given a chance to go back to high school, I think I would now know better. So I think that is also the essence of why we are doing it. Someone might say, but why are you talking about exams when we have now completed our exams? Of the students have completed their exams for this year. But the aim of Prudent Woman is when you sit for exams again, maybe you're writing your grade 10 exams, but now we're equipped grade 11. Now you know better. Now you know the skills that you need to be able of writing exams, and also the anxiety of waiting for your results. We go any further, I'd like to go to Mama Priscilla. So Mama Priscilla is a parent. She's also to someone who is in matric this year. And I know some of the pressure, Priscilla, but I think some of the pressure for students comes from parents. It comes from parents because, you know, parents will be saying, I want that straight from your father wanted to be a doctor, and for some reason they did not become a doctor, then the pressure. So our parents sometimes want to achieve their own personal goals, children. But I want to hear from you, Mama Priscilla, because we always say, young people will usually say, as my parent, please get me an egg. I want my snacks when I'm studying. You know, there's so much that we also expect from you tonight. What do you then expect in return? So we want you to have packs for us. We want you to excuse us from daily chores in the house. We don't wash dishes. We no longer do anything because we are studying. So as you what is it that you expect in return as parents from us as your children?
Good evening, Mama Pumla and our producer and the learners and students. I think from the perspective of a parent, personally, this is my second matriculant who was sitting for exams this year. And I think I had matured over the years with my first matriculant coming to this one to learn to lower my expectations. And I think that helped me a lot to also calm her down. Because you can imagine I've gone through the phases, in particular with my current matriculant, who will be stressed by little things. You know, Mama Pumla, you'll be stressed by getting a 70. It will be like it's a failure. And I mean it's a good mark, if you understand what I mean. So personally, with me, with this current matriculant, it was another set of challenges. It was no longer me living my expectations with her. I've done that with my firstborn. I've gone through that. I know with my firstborn, I always wanted him to be a scientist and so on and so on. And he ended up giving us the PSC that we wanted, and he's working on something that he loves. So I've gone through the phases. So just in a nutshell, my expectations, I think this current one, I was a bit mature in terms of dealing with the matric anxiety. But I must admit that the current matric crop, it's very different to what we know and what we have been through. It's a new, totally different type of matric that they've been writing.
Oh, thank you so much, Mama Priscilla, and thank you for confirming what I just said. So Mama Priscilla is a mother to me, and one thing is not a scientist, but you heard her, she said her expectation with her first to be a scientist. So like I was saying, you know, sometimes we carry that pressure. Our parents wanting us to become maybe something that they dreamed of. And I don't think it is in any negative way. It is not like our parents are on us intentionally, but it's because they want the best for us. They want us, and they became. So I want to make it clear also to you students out there. Yeah, no, Mama, don't say I must be a doctor when you are not a doctor. Actually, once had, as the parent was saying, you see, I see your peers on TV. They are professionals that, and this young person answered and said, Mama and Papa, you are a peer, but I don't see you as rich as he is. So give me a break. So it is not about, you know, other as parents and as children, but we just want to know what are the expectations from how can we better handle it. So before we go any further, I'd like also to acknowledge on the show, besides the guests, we also have our executive producer who is in everything work for us. And I acknowledge Pastor Strike. Thank you so much for making sure that Prudent Woman happens and everything that we prepare for the women to go out there. And on that note, I'd like for us now to just go for a commercial break, and we'll go to our professional, who is Mrs. Ntsako, who will be helping us topic. So now we go for our commercial break.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Back. The time now is 20 minutes past 6, and we are still continuing to how to deal with the pressure that comes with sitting for exams, and also the as I sit and I await my results. And right now, I'd like to go to Nza, a young person who is a qualified psychologist, a married woman, but I would like for her to introduce herself better. And the reason why we brought Nzako in, because she is, like I said, she's a young person, scare the students and think, but it's old people, they are out of touch, they don't understand, they faced back then is no longer the same. She said for her exam, for her, not many years ago, and she is now a qualified psychologist. So tell the viewers a bit about yourself, and then I want to get to you now.
Thank you so much, Sis Pumla, for invite. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Nzako. You can.
Okay, beautiful. So much, as I was saying, for inviting me to this prestigious platform. Thank you to the pastor Kenza Nene. And yes, my name is Nzako Mugatusi, 7 years old. So I did my matric in 2013 at Nelson Mandela University to do my undergrad in Bachelor of Psychology. So it was 4 years, which made me a registered counselor. I went to work went back to school in 2018, to do my master's in research. I went to Medunsa, now known as Sefako Makgatho, to do clinical psychology. And that's what made me a clinical psychologist. So yes, Ms. Pumla, you are quite right. I'm a young professional. Many hardships from high school, which we will talk about as the university. Ask me questions, and then I will explain in terms of my experience. Before we can get to that, just quickly, I just want to point out that, I heard you speaking up at what you want it to be, and I strongly agree with that, because it is in your hands. It's where it's a defining year. However, also not to put pressure on yourself. In 2013, when I was in matric, I had not been like an A and everything, but then there was just a lot of anxiety to say this is the last year of my, and by the grace of God, I managed to pass. But then again, it was not like just had like two distinctions with my Xitsonga and life orientation, a pharmacist, but then I didn't have enough marks for physics. I didn't have enough marks for. However, I found my niche in varsity, which is psychology. Thinking that would be easy and everything, but hey, when I got there, it wasn't as easy. But my point is, yes, you marks that you want, you might not have had the career that you want, but where God plays hope, and there is something that can come out of it. And I had the other speaker saying it's much capacity, and I strongly agree with that, because looking at the Nzako in high school and then different people, I excelled in my varsity, got bursaries, and got to be a clinical psychologist. They chose like 6 people out of hundreds and thousands of. I believe that also, when you know your purpose and you know that what matric doesn't, but what you do after that is what will matter. Let me leave it at this. Over to you, Pumla.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nzako. You've said quite a mouthful. I think, Tegile, you are feeling better now as a matric student, and also Nyele was saying that then Tsako, that was in high school, became herself when she was now in university, because I believe she then knew better. So I think that is the whole point why we want to gather like this and have a young person, because she's relatable to us. We understand that the struggles that now Katekile and also Nyeleti are not so far-fetched for her, them not so long ago. So I want to come back to you, Ntsako. Now our viewers and our listeners are more interested in finding out what us for effectively dealing with anxiety as we wait for results. But I want us to go back to exams. You know, we always tell people that are about to write their exams, even if it's not people, even elderly people who are doing maybe their post-grad, we always say to people, why is it so important to remain calm when you are about to sit for exams? What effect does it have on the outcome of your writing exams, and why is it so important that I remain calm when I'm about to write exams? Ntsako, are you still there?
Oh, sorry, I had not unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I'm saying thank you so much for that question. So excuse me, but yeah, the car will come to a standstill now. However, I did hear with anxiety of waiting for results. How do we deal with the expectations that comes within to the person who's waiting for the results? And you know, the parents, communities, friends, and everything deal with it. You know, I'll start by saying, you know what? You've been in school, started from grade 1, and I think you should clap hands for yourself for making it this far. And so much that one can do in terms of after they've written, it is done. You've written change at this point. However, it's the awareness of, you know, whatever result that, because I'm a very spiritual person as well, and I'm a Christian. I believe in God. When I believe that, you know what, God's will prevail. So you know, I always told myself prevail, and it will not put me in a position where I'll not be able to deal with. When I was waiting for over 70s for my maths and my physics, because but also Sis Pumla and Nyeleti, and I forgot the other thing. I thought, you know what, my mom wanted me to be a pharmacist, so I need to get this right. When the results came back, they were nowhere near being a pharmacist. The devastation that I had to go through, that oh my gosh, my career is flying through the window. Probably I'm disappointed in me, but I thank God for the kind of mother God gave me. We didn't reach the goal that she wanted for me. At least it was a bachelor's pass, and I that it could have been a diploma, it could have been an age, that still would have been okay. But you know, in that situation, where to from here? Do I go back and rewrite my matric, or do I equivalent to what I've achieved? I always tell people and my peers that, you know what, Mark's passion burning inside of you, and you know, the zeal and the thirst to want to learn of your life, it's what will keep you going. So as I said in the beginning, that yeah, I went and ran with psychology, and I just did not study psychology. I studied it, made sure that I master it. I made sure that no one overlooks me in class. I made sure lectures, you know. So back to the matric, and not when you're anxious, it is okay to be anxious from a psychological point of view. It is an anxiety is expected. You know, I'm concerning you waiting, because the waiting is. But what I can stress this evening to the listeners and the ones that are in studio, run your best. Be aware that, you know what, yes, you will be anxious. However, need to talk about it. You know, speak about it with your friends or someone you trust, your mom, your church pastor, or anyone who's very close to you, whom you trust. Talk, reflect on it. Explain why. Sit down with yourself. Why am I feeling? I'm thinking I'm gonna fail. Is it because I'm not gonna reach my goal? And all those feelings totally valid. But I would advise not to sit with it. Talk about it. Express your. When the results now come in, then it's the reality that you're gonna be facing. You remain calm. You look at your results, and now you do from here, because sometimes we can plan. Even the Bible does say that many ends hard, but God will always prevail. It might be because go to university on the following year, or it might be a redirection. That's how my life turned out. I was redirected. My passion, God wanted me to be a psychologist, to talk on anxiety, depression, and all those things. But in short, be aware that there are people who don't understand what you're going through, and that's okay. And they tend to act differently from how we would have wanted them to. And remember, you are not how other people will see you or treat you, but you are responsible of how you take the treatment with it. This is I'm saying this in terms of when your results come and they do well, but that's according to whose standards. You did your best. You might sit back and say, you know what, I've tried my best. This is the best that I could do. Give yourself grace, and then you can deal with what other people are saying about you. Listen to them, but do not make it your own reality. So be aware of that. That will also help, because remember, whether you go back to school or you do not go back, if results were where we wanted, the world will go on. But it's about what you do when you are. That will set us apart from many people. Pumla, in closing, I did love sharing so much with the young ones, because as you said, I can completely relate. I remember there were people who were saying, no, she will never amount to anything. It's below par. By the way, my math was about 50 something. And my financial, what can you do with you? Scared, you thinking, oh my gosh, my APS and bad. You know what? The APS was good enough to enter me into university, but actually find my passion. So in your life, maybe there's nothing else that you would want to do. Like I had an option to turn to psych. I would advise as well to sit back, relax, breathe, and think about the next steps. But you can think about in everything that you do. Remember, you are the driver of your own life, your own destiny holder. Let me leave it at that, Pumla. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nzako. Thank you so much also for sharing. When you talk to someone who shares their own personal story, it makes you relate better, because it goes beyond someone just giving lines of handling something. When they tell you, this is where I have been, this is how, it becomes more real. And I think one thing that I've picked up from what you were sharing with us now is grateful just for the opportunity to be tested. I usually say when I speak for exams, and I think I learned this from Pastor Strike, having gone around with him, to always say an exam is not your enemy. An exam is just an opportunity for you to be promoted. I think also that mindset, if you keep that open mind when you are still prepared, it helps you understand that you are not going there to fight with the paper, but you are really help yourself position yourself for a promotion. So I think it also is another important fact about purpose. I is not, I think we like to complicate the whole topic around finding your purpose. And for me, I've come to learn and discover. That purpose is not really there to discover your purpose, but your purpose is the one that actually runs after you. So you had other plans when you were still writing your matric, but because of the out results, maybe you had to be redirected. And now
Yes.
that you are in psychology, is where you belong, you know. So the way your results came, it was not really fake. It was actually a redirection so that you could then go back and go where, you know, the word of God says all things work together for the good of those who for his purposes, you know. So I think that is also something that is worth noting. If you can be at a point where you are not so clear about your purpose, it invests so much of your energy running after things because you are trying to discover. Look at your passions. What are you passionate about? What are the things that come easily to you? You can do so easily without having to think about it. I know people who are now well, or they are well-known cooks, and they say, I am self-taught. You know, I used not to, and when they say I'm self-taught, but then I got to understand anything that is meant for you, fully for it. You know, I think when I was a student, if a teacher now, there's one thing that all my teachers can attest to, is that I was one of those people. I was not so troublesome, but I would always be talking. Noisemakers, I would be there. And I didn't understand. I was like, you know, sometimes I'd beat my I talk so much. Only to find now that I needed that skill of being able to speak. It comes naturally to me. Sometimes, even if I am impromptu, given and get time to prepare, I can be able to quickly put something together, and I have the courage to. So you see, then if I didn't have teachers that, you know, were much shut me down and say, hey, this one just talks too much, or I could have beaten myself up and say too much, only to find it is part of my purpose. So I think everything, it is important, everything, to understand that it is there for a purpose, and it is actually leading us to something that prudent woman, we believe in equipping women so that they go to their respective corners where they are planted. I'd like now to go back to Mama Priscilla. Times were so harsh on our parents. You know, we, like I was also saying earlier, that expectations on us as we sit for exams. But I'd like to know, how easy is it for you parents to keep an open mind when we are now have been there supporting me, getting me that exam care pack as I was preparing for exam, for you as a parent to keep an open mind when we have now come to the point where exams are done? Is it easy for you to keep an open mind, or is it an automatic thing that you emit these expectations, you know, to or even pressure? I think it is also pressure on how easy is it for you, our parents, to keep that open mind? I think we need to be, as parents. Mama Priscilla, over to you.
No, thanks, Mama Pumla. It is not easy. It is not easy. The default settings, it's for you to want to be a driver. But intentionally, you just have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional to say, I am not the one who's writing matric. I am not the one who is going to live this life. So let me be a support system. And a support system, it's not a driver. A support system, you support the key person, the primary person. But you really have to remind yourself every day to say, my role this year, or my role in raising this child, is to be a support person. And a support person remains a support person, and be intentional about it. You know, you'll always default, your default position will be like, wake up, study, do this. But intentionally, I taught myself throughout the years to say, I need to be supportive and ask, what time do you want, what help do you want from me? What assistance do you need from me? Tell me what time I should wake you up, or you want to wake up so that I can help you waking you up. I am telling you, it is not easy. It is not easy sometimes when you talk to them and you ask, what do you want to be? And they tell you something that you never expected. But you just have to take a deep breath and say, this is not me. This is not my life. My life is to support for this person to be who she wants to be, who God has destined her to be. It's not easy, I can say that.
Sure. I think what I'm learning is that this thing it is not just parents who have expectations and stipulations towards parents, but I think it goes back to let us work together, own role that they need to play, and their own contribution that they need to bring this thing work. You know, I think like you're saying now, Mama Priscilla, that you had to adjust the support system. You know, at the end of the day, this individual are going to shape their own life and their own journey. So there's a certain level needed there that yes, I desire such for this person, but at the end of the day, own way, and they are going to walk their own journey. At the same time as I think we also now get to understand that the pressure is not just on our side, on our parents. Thank you so much for that, Mama Priscilla. I'd like now to go because we'll have to let her go soon. So I want her before to go help us as we now wait for results. How can I deal comes with waiting for results? How can I manage the anxiety? I know it is expected that you feel a bit of anxiety, but how do I manage it so for this period of waiting for results does not completely break me? As we're still waiting for Nzago, I think she could have become disconnected there. As we are waiting for the able to, let me go back to Katekiri. Kati, so you have written, you have shared with us already the pressures that have come with your matric exams. So now that you are done, what get excited? You know, are you preparing for next year, or you are in the worrying about results? How are you feeling right now? The exams. What is the mood around you? How are you feeling right
now? I remember this might be if I was writing my last paper. I remember that morning, and it wasn't I was crying on my last paper. People think that it was because of the tears of joy or being happy that I'm finished, and I had to keep explaining that no, my tears of relief, yes, but mostly my tears came that yes, this is my last paper, and yes, I am, but now I don't know what else to do. Usually, keep in mind papers and so forth. You know that within 3 days or week at the very most, your teacher will give you how you did, and you'll see where you went wrong and so forth. Now our papers are gone. You're just going to have to find out next year whether you did well or not. I was wrong. What did I do wrong? You just have to accept it for what it is. And because of that, yes, there is anxiety. There is a bit. I didn't get the marks I wanted. What if I didn't even pass? You know, there's so many possibilities arise when you overthink the whole entire situation. say that my mood is I tried my best. I put in everything that I not compare myself to the next person because what I had is not the same as what another person. So I told myself that yes, I gave my best. It might not be that I gave my personal best. And because of that, I think that has calmed down my anxiety that God knows my best. God knows the limit. And if give me that capacity, that's wherever my marks take me, that's where I was supposed to go. And that alone, just the reassurance that whatever happens, God knows happens, and He's already scripted it to align with a greater goal, just calms me down.
Okay, thank you so much, Kathy. Yeah, it really is not easy to sit for a matric exam, but we are behind you, Kathy, and as Nsako has already shared that, you know, the most important thing is for you to go out there and give your best, you know, and you're also confident when you know I sat for my matric exam, I had given all the effort that I had in me. So we are behind you as Prudent Woman, we are behind you, and we know you're going to make us proud together with all the other matric students that are prudent women that have set for their exams. So we are waiting with you for those results, and we are already proud of you for having been able to sit for those exams, and you know, we know that you did your best. I'd like now to go to Nyelezi. So Nyelezi, you were doing your law, you were studying law, and now you have just completed. And when we say completed, I understand that it's because you are done with your exam. But now, do you also feel the anxiety that you felt after writing matric, or is it now like a breeze for you? Do you have that, you know, are you still scared, or now it's a done deal, you are preparing for work, you are now preparing your apartment and everything as you prepare to go to work next year? Is it still the same as after matric, waiting for the results, or is it easier now? Nyelezi? Okay, I think we might have also lost Nyelezi. I think we're struggling a bit tonight, and I would just also like to apologize to you, our lovely viewers. I understand the sound is not so perfect tonight. I think some of the speakers, as they speak, they break a bit here and there, but I'd like to believe and hope that at least you are getting bits and pieces of what we are talking about, and you are also being helped as either a student or a parent or one who knows someone who is either writing exams or waiting for their results. So we really, really apologize for that. It is beyond our control, honestly. So as we have, I think we are struggling to get Nyelezi back on, as well as Nsako. I'd like to go back to Mama Priscilla now. Mama, you have taken us through the pressures that you experience as parents. You know, when you have children that are writing exams and also now waiting for results. I think another important element that you raised is how sometimes, you know, as you are supporting your children, as much as you can be open-minded, as much as you can be supportive and understanding, but there comes a time where your child comes, and when you are checking what you want to do after matric, what you want to study, or what career you want to pursue, they tell you something that you did not expect. Maybe because you know their capabilities, you know they could go and do something that maybe you feel that this is more fulfilling or whatever. As a parent, when you face something like that, how do you respond? How do you feel, if we can be honest? How do you feel as a parent, and how do you respond to this person who is telling you, yes, I know, you know me as an A student, you know I could well be able to be a doctor or go and do actual science or whatever, but I want to go and I want to go into the creative space or whatever the case may be. How do you receive it as a parent? I'd like to believe you pointed it out because you were talking out of experience. How do you receive it as a parent? And also, how do you respond to this person who is telling you what you are not expecting?
No, Mama Pumla, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy because we've got our preconceived ideas of who our children are. But perhaps it's a bit of maturity on my side. When my daughter came to, we were having a chat, and then she told me, Mama, it starts with the subject choices from grade 10, honestly. Then grade 10, you discuss. Then as you move, grade 11, then they are saying, no, I'm dropping this subject, I'm taking this subject. And you are like, your goals, are you still there within your set goals? And then you will be given a prepared speech of a page or two. And yeah, with me, as long as you can engage me and tell me that, yes, this is what I want to do, these are the reasons and these are my strong points. And honestly speaking, if you give them an ear and listen to what they want to do and the reasoning behind that, then you get to understand why they are making those particular choices. They are not you, they are them. If a person says, for example, I want to do communications or I want to do something that is related to politics, and you look at that person, you can see that this person is forever arguing. This person is good in debating. This person, it's good in this particular area, but this person cannot even take out a dead rat, and you want that person to be a doctor. You see, so when you listen and you engage, you get to understand, and you will see that their desired field is more or less their characteristics. But with us, because we have got preconceived things, we always say, no, if you can be a doctor, how do you become a doctor if you cannot even handle a dead rat? You see, so it's not easy because already we are defaulting. This is what we want our children to be. We don't even identify with a scripture reading for us who are Christians that says God has plans for each one of us. We have plans for our bundles of joy. I want my child to be a chartered accountant. But that child cannot even say 1 + 1 is 2. So it's not an easy thing, I must say. And I spoke to many parents about these things, about this particular thing. Some of them, they will be saying, no, we see your doctor has chosen this particular subject. How do you feel? How did you allow it? And I'll tell them, it's not about me. My show has ended. This is her show. And I'm going to be there available for her, support her to be the best version of who she's supposed to be. So that's how I dealt with it. And as I'm saying, the bottom line is being intentional about it. You always remind yourself intentionally, I am going to be a support system for this vessel, so that this vessel, if it flies, let it fly. This vessel, I don't want to be an hindrance in any way to this particular vessel. So I've been reminding myself, we have been reminding even as a family, when we have these talks, even with the dead, we'll be reminding ourselves to say, we are only but vessels that has brought this child to the earth, but this child must live her life to the fullest, difficult as it may be. But we are here, we'll support her all the way, whatever she wants to do. I know there are parents who will come to me and say, no, my child wants to go to design school. What is this design school? Whether it's graphic design or it's whatever design. And I always go back to them and say, if the child is gifted in that particular area, support them. Support them. Maybe they will be designers, they will be the whatever designers in 10 years to come. We do not know. Some of them, they will be authors. They will be writing books. Some of them, they will be politicians. They will be leading. We have got a vacuum in terms of politics now. So it's not only about doctors. Yes, doctors must be there. We're grooming them. We are happy for them. Chartered accountants, they will be there. Actuaries, they will be there. Lawyers will be there. I become very excited when they want to do law, and I support them all the way when they want to do law. I spoke to Nyeleti Manpumla when she came back, and she told me, no, I'm going to FM, I'm writing my board exams in August, but they are forcing us to do all of the 4 papers at once. How do I do that? I said, you're going to pass. I'm going to give you support. You're going to pass them once all 4 papers. So it is very difficult, but we need to be there as a sounding board to assist them and to help them and to support them as our children as they go into this world.
Oh, thank you so
Thank,
much, Mama.
thank you, Mom.
I think what I'm getting is, Mama Priscilla keeps emphasizing the importance of partnership between parents and children, and I think it is such a blessing to have parents who understanding their role and they are intentionally giving the support that we need, but also being there to guide us and help us, because reality is, as a child, you do have certain levels of limitations, but when our parents are there to guide us, it really is a blessing. So young people, when your mother is there and wanting to know, why do you want to follow this career path? Why do you want to do this and that? It is not because they want to change you, but it is because they want to help you. Yes, you may want to follow a particular path, but you still need someone who will be able to ask you those critical questions so that you also get to understand fully why you have such a desire or why your passions are leading you a certain direction. So our lovely viewers, it is now 4 minutes to 7 o'clock and we are about to conclude the show. But like I said earlier, would like Nzako as our psychologist to help us to know ways we can apply to better deal with the anxiety. She did say it is expected, but how do we deal with that anxiety? So just that final question, Nzako, before I hope we're not going to lose you again. Just give us a few tips of handling the anxiety that comes with waiting for results.
Thank you so much, Pumla. I hope you can hear me now. Sorry about that. I've been struggling with network. But quickly, I would say that dealing is not easy. However, in this case, disorder, because now when the anxiety is persistent and happens over time, diagnosing it. However, now it is relevant in terms of the context itself. Therefore, anxiety happens because you don't know what it can be described as constant worry. So you are thinking a lot about the result. Mind, you are preoccupied with that thought. And I heard, I think it's Nyele who spoke about constantly thinking, how are they going to be like? How are they going to be like? Is it going to be what I expected? What I did not expect. So those thoughts of worry keep on coming back, can even cause you to have physical symptoms, headaches. You can sleep a lot. You can go through a depressive episode, not only anxiety, but when that happens, to be aware that certain things have changed about yourself. Go out there, try to speaking to mama, try to speaking to someone you trust. So how we deal with anxiety is doing activities actually the mind, as like we are specialized with the mind. It all starts out things, how you see things. So I would say change the way you think, change the way you start restructuring your thoughts, because it is the thoughts that adds into the worry. We can't, what if I fail? What if? But what if you pass? So let's also think positive thoughts come, because it's all about thoughts that lead us to worrying, that lead us to, feel crying and not enjoying the festive season. I would say that be aware of it, do things you learn, change the way you think, and also, read a book or try to do something, waiting for the results. I mean, you will cross the bridge when you get there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nzako. We really appreciate the you have shared with us tonight. And I think everything that we spoke about is not only helpful for those who are writing their matric result, their matric exams, or those like Nyele who were writing their exams, their final varsity exams. But I think for everyone who is still studying, even if you are doing your postgrad, I think it's important what you were sharing with us. and we are better equipped to go out there and really understand that, you know what, exams are just there's an opportunity for me to be tested so that I can be promoted. And I think we are also encouraged to go back to school, you know, and study. You know, even when we have discovered our purpose and we know what we want to do with our lives or the meaning of our lives, it is good to, you know, support it with the necessary knowledge, you know, and the wisdom that will help you to better execute that which you are called for. So I just want to say thank you so much to all our guests. Thank you, Kati. Thank you, Nyeleti. Thank you, Mama Priscilla. You have represented our parents very well. And thank you so much to our psychologist, Nzako. We really, really appreciate all of you. And we believe what you have shared with our guests, with our viewers and our listeners has really been impactful. And yeah, we thank you so much. I personally learned a lot. I enjoyed myself on today's episode. And this is how we know Prudent Woman. We come here and we get so equipped. We get so much knowledge that we're able to take and apply in our respective journeys. You know, and I believe this is the objective of the show. So from myself tonight, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And again, we sincerely apologize for the technical glitches that we were experiencing. And I would like to greatly appreciate our executive producer, Pastor Strike, who has been working so much behind the scenes to make sure that we are able to connect, we are able to have this beautiful show. So thank you so much. And I'd like also to appreciate Mrs. Rulan Baloyi, who gave me an opportunity today to sit on her seat and run this show. Thank you so much. And our lovely viewers, know that next week she will be back on your screens. She will be in studio. You will be enjoying her once more. And I can promise you, she is coming with yet another powerful topic that will help us as prudent women. But before we close, we just want to appreciate one of our own prudent women. She is a young prudent woman. I don't want to call her a prudent young woman. She's just a prudent woman who is still growing and developing. And that is Miss Shongile Helani, who has just been freshly crowned as Miss Limpopo 2023. Just yesterday, she was crowned. And as prudent women, we just want to say, girl, we are so proud of you. And we know that as you walk that ramp, you are representing all of us. So thank you so much. And this is what we're all about. As prudent women, we fix each other's crowns and we celebrate each other. So from me, thank you so much. And I'd like to remind you that as we journey into this new week, remember that you are an individual. Remember to embrace your authenticity. Remember that you being an individual is what is needed in the world. So go out there as yourself and shine in that corner that God has planted you in. You are needed in that corner. Therefore, show up with confidence and show up in your pure authenticity. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, our lovely viewers. And see you again, same time, same place next week. Thank you and good